I think my moral is don't use Redis for anything after tonight. My name's Luke. I work at a place called The Score. Can you hear me? Okay. This is not a story about the current job. It's about my last job, and I don't see anyone here for my last job, so that's probably for the best. Yeah, gloves are off. This is about the haunted VPN tunnel. About 6 or 7 years ago, I was working on an operations team at a pretty large company that did a ton of payments, transactions, things like that. So you definitely know it's not where I currently work. We were doing what previously people have touched on called a data center move. We had a bunch of servers that we were paying a company, well, since no one's here, I don't care, a company called Verizon Managed Hosting in the States. We were paying them about $100-something thousand a year to maintain an entire rack of Solaris machines. Solaris machines were the slowest thing on the planet. They were terrible, and we were paying thousands of dollars in upgrade fees just to put more memory in these things. So what we wanted to do was to move everything to an in-source data center in Toronto, buy all the hardware, buy the firewalls, buy the networking gear, and so on and so forth. So somehow we had negotiated with all of our partners that we had at this anonymous company to have 6 hours a month of a maintenance window. The 6 hours happened to be defined in every contract as the last Sunday of each month from midnight to 6 a.m. Now maybe you ops people know the absolute worst time to do anything on an operational scale is at like 4 in the morning when you haven't slept. So through the years, sometimes we've had events like that. And what we had to do was fit an entire data center migration in that 6 hour window. So part of that was actually easy because we were essentially throwing out everything Verizon had for us and just buying new gear from Dell. Dirt cheap, cheap data center up in Don Mills and Eglinton. We were pretty excited about the whole thing, and the team was fairly mature and knew what we were doing. What was not mature and who did not know what they were doing was all of our partners. So we had about 150 B2B connections with banks, financial institutes, all kinds of really legacy systems probably running on COBOL. And we were having a very big challenge getting all those partners to accept our new IP address. So we came up with a solution as we were migrating month by month to use a VPN to the old data center and send any partner traffic who hadn't migrated yet through the old IP address. It's kind of like a stopgap solution to sort of force people to migrate, but also allow them a little more leeway. So in our second last maintenance window, when we were almost done cutting everything over, we had put all these tunnels in place. We were using a very simple tool, I guess HA proxy is what you'd look at now, where basically to talk to a partner, our Java app would connect to localhost on a very special port, and then that would get forwarded over the tunnel. So my ops team at like 4:30 a.m. were doing our final checklist and going tunnel through tunnel and checking all these little forwarding processes and making sure all of them were done and that all of the partners had correctly cut off old access, enabled the new access, etc., etc. Around 5 a.m. we declared it done. We were all completely in the new data center. We found a little bit of traffic still running through the VPN. We were looking at the, I guess Cisco back in the day, interface metrics, and we kept seeing periodic traffic. We, spoiler, incorrectly thought that this was our monitoring system, still kind of tickling the VPN, making sure things were up. So we did a test transaction, got all the way through to the payment phase, and said, oh, we're good, we're golden. And around 6 a.m., site's back up, everyone goes back to bed immediately because we're completely exhausted. Around 4 hours later, of course, we get a phone call saying that no one has been able to pay for the last 4 hours. So this is probably the darkest moment of my life getting that phone call as the team lead at the time. So I full on panic, jump on the system, and I use a couple tools to determine that our payment provider was not accepting traffic on the new interface. Further than that, I found out that in the previous maintenance window, someone on the ops team decided to use IP tables to forward the tunnel instead of a load balancer or an actual port forwarder, which meant that in our meticulous audit and checklist, we did not catch that the single most important piece of our entire app, taking people's money, wouldn't work when we cut over. So 4 or 5 hours later, when I get the call, it's a very quick fix. Thank goodness it was easy to troubleshoot. Then on Monday, of course, a gigantic business meeting about what happened. And we had lost in that period of time a few $100,000, probably $400,000. So there's 3 ops guys on my team, and blood is called for. People want to know who possibly did this. Now that name we're taking to our grave. We never sort of said which of the three did it, so that if they wanted to actually, reprimand us, it was an all or nothing deal. So the good thing is, I guess the silver lining is that we had happened to sort of have a place where you can only buy this commodity from us. And then after doing a lot of fiscal reports, we found out that really almost all those users who got failed payments came back and fortunately resent their orders to us. And in the end, we only lost about $50,000, which came out of my paycheck because no, that did not happen. But the moral of the story is that I actually don't know the moral. It was terrifying. I haven't wanted to sit down and actually analyze a moral. Maybe don't. I guess honestly, the moral: don't ever schedule your hardest things in the middle of the night. Try to architect systems where you don't have to do that. I guess because no one is going to screw up more than someone that's had no sleep. That's it. Thanks.